Hello, everybody. This is Max Farrell. This is DexTrader.com. Today is the 2nd of April, 2018, and this is your daily update. All right, so let's get started. I'll get over to my little drawing page here for the Dex Trader update. All right. As we've been building relationships with different systems and programs throughout our time here at DexTrader, one thing that I have found is that updates to browsers, and there's so many different things, from for how to attach to our systems. And if you're a DexTrader.com member, you know that there's sometimes a frustration with using your browser compared to your computer, depending on what internet connection you have. There's so many different things that could go wrong. But know this, we do listen. When you write us and say, hey, look, this is operating weirdly, and we don't just say, oh, it must be your program, go away. We investigate. We look at. Now, we have over 4,500 members that have come through our system, over 8,000 people through our networks. And when we get like one or two people, maybe one person saying something, sporadically, we may not investigate every single detail of every single part of our network because there's so much of it. But when we get a couple of people that say, hey, look, this is operating a little weirdly, we really start to investigate the process, especially if one of us or one of the other senior traders don't have an issue with that problem, with that network. So here's what happened. On our basic 5-minute signals, our 5-minute signals for the Nadex side of it, there is software that we use. And the software that we use is these little programs that you see here. Now, we created this software, but we use a system, what we refer to as JavaScript. And JavaScript can be very hokey sometimes with, I guess, the browsers that are out there, because there's security issues that we have to look at. This information that the system uses comes from another server, and that server is relayed and has a security process. Sometimes this system can be a little hokey on how we work with it, right? It can be a little bit pain in the butt. And as you see right now, it's working pretty fast and pretty loose here. I mean, it seems like if I touch my arrows, if I click on this little gray box up here and I hit my right arrow, I can move around. I can also click and drag and move these boxes around, and you can kind of see everything's there. If I flip between the tabs, the 5-minute boards, they all change, and they do so very quickly. Well, last week, towards the middle of the week to the end of the week, we had some complaints that there was some slowing of this system. And guess what? You were absolutely right. There was slowing down in the system. And here's what it was doing. If you had been to the site once or twice, as soon as you got to the site for the first few minutes, there was no problem. You could go back and forth. You could do whatever. Okay, there was a lot of, it was very quick. Everything was fine. But if you had been to the site 3 or 4 times, 5 or 6 times a week, or what have you, every time that you came to the site, there was a news box that was right here. Okay, and this news box is from another company, and this is a news company, and that news company's JavaScript had some errors in it, which we didn't realize. So what it was doing, it was taking the information that it wanted to deliver and putting it into your browser and stacking it up. Okay, so when you first got there, it only stacked up a little bit. Then the next day you showed up, it was stacked up a little bit more. And next day, next day, next day. And then all of a sudden you get to here and it gets full. Now, what would happen is that once it got completely full, the system would slow down so bad because it had to remove this line to add a new line. That's the basic long and short of it. So what did we do? I can't fix their program, so I removed it. And as you see, no problem. And I've had this running now for just a few minutes. And you'll see later on that if you come back again, it'll run the same speed because we dumped the information. So, long and short, everything's fixed on the 5-minute signal system. Now, in trying to build networks, there's always going to be something. There's always going to be a malfunction, or something's going to happen. And the one thing that I ask from everybody is, one, please be respectful for our time. We work very hard to try to make this stuff happen. And don't worry, if you call on the site, if you call on the company, if you're just trying to get something figured out, you can't figure something out, I don't want you to struggle. I don't want you to spend 5 hours on trying to figure something out. But please try to attempt to at least look into the frequently asked questions, into the training. And please don't ever think that we're here to try to shuffle you off to something else. Oh, go watch the training or go do this. If that does happen, please call me directly. Okay? None of the other people here should be doing that. And if it does, it's probably an isolated incident. So just know that we are here to help you, and we do want you to be successful. All right. That's basically all I have for the Nadex and Forex side for DexTrader. Up next is going to be the quick update for the DexFX copy system. If you're not sure what the DexFX copy system, that's where we do trades on Forex, and you can copy our results. So if you want to find out what they are, stick around. Up next, the DexFX copy for 4/20/2018. This is your daily update. All right, I just had to take a drink of coffee here real quick, and let's get started. The month of March, boy, beware the Ides of March, I tell you that. In that month of March, I didn't get you guys a really great ending month update for the month of March. But the month of March really got us incited because there were a lot of things that happening, and there were some changes that were made. About halfway through March, we began to trail down in our equity curve. The reason being is that I allowed a few things to happen. One is that we shifted our mentalities a little bit. We shifted the way that we had the Dex Grinch going on, and then I shifted over to the Simply Forex, but it was also having down time at that particular time. And then I shifted to sort of a beginning part of our team. Now, what had happened with that means that we've had something happen that we haven't had in a while, and that's we've had a bad month. And that bad month didn't really yield out tremendously too bad. I mean, we didn't get killed. We didn't lose thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, but we did end up negative. Now, it wasn't through the lack of effort at the very last moment that we were trying to get back into the positive, but I never tried chasing the dragon with that mentality because you'll just end up getting hurt. Now, so the month of March on the Max Prime, we got a little bit hurt. And if you start looking at July, at April, you start going, well, wait a minute, we're back into losing again. Don't look at that just yet. I'll show you why in a minute. As March 1st, right here, began to happen, of course, we made our biggest mistake there, switching from Dex Grinch to SFX, and SFX took us down just a little bit further. The last moment, we made a little bit of a push up, and you can kind of see where we're going to go now. Now, we have this happening, and I'll show you here on the board. Give me 1 second. Our relationship with a team of traders is very important. And why is that? Well, first and foremost, the team that we are developing the relationship with is what we call a closed team. And this closed team is doing nothing but trading for us. It's exclusivity. And that's the biggest thing that we have going for us. We're not just out looking for teams to trade. Hey, you want to trade for us? Hey, why don't you come on board? these folks have to have a positive equity curve for the past 5 months before they can even come onto the team. And so that means that they come on and they trade and they show their trading prowess following our methods. Why? Because we don't want one trader coming on who's fast and loose and another who's kind of mediocre and another who's kind of too high risk, right? We want a nice even keel of trading, and we want them to use the tools that we provide. So in this relationship of building this team, there's a team manager, and the team manager's name is Steve. Now, I won't go too much into the world of Steve, but Steve is a pretty strong individual when it comes to training traders and putting trading teams together. He has a tremendous amount of experience and a love for this business, and has the same kind of mentality I do, that we want to help people become successful. Now, ultimately enough, Steve and I definitely want to make money. So the best way to do that is to create a popular, strong, and working system. Hence the latter part there, the working system. And in order to do that, we need to create a team that is using the tools that we provide to be able to create the equity curve we want. Now, what does that look like? Well, as we all know, that the DexFX copy system, let me pull it up here real quick. Has several things going for it. And one of them is there is just a tremendous amount of opportunity, we should say, within the process. Okay? And that opportunity gives us, more often than not, the chance to really take this to a higher growth. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to create opportunity to create more growth. Okay? And this is what it comes down to. If you look at the possibilities here, and here's where we really kind of sink our teeth into, is that we're in now a possibility margin today of 72 pips and $12.49 in the positive, which would completely smoke out anything that happened here and here. Okay? We'd be about $5 in the positive. Now, unfortunately, when we closed out the week last week, we closed out with some open trades, and we talked to the team about this, and those open trades ended up not yielding out exactly what we wanted. These were the two that were left open. We lost 50 pips on one and made 3 on another, giving us a dividend of 40 minus 47. But the details here of what's on board right now is pretty strong. So that's what we're kind of sticking with. This entire mentality of, yes, we want to grow, and we are going to win and lose trades. We're just looking for these kind of margins to be true, that we are going to constantly be growing. So for those of you that are with us, I'd say, I'm telling you this right now, stay the course with us. Stay the course, keep the lots small. We're using what we call double lots for twin trading now. I said this on Thursday or Friday of last week. That twin trading mentality is very strong, okay? Because what it does is that it gives you an opportunity at 0.2 that as the margins are going up, we get out on one that leaves us one on the board to continue on for growth, and because we move everything up to break even, and then this one becomes pure profit. All right? Gives us an opportunity to really do some good things. Now, if you want to use a multiplier of 0.0, of 1 or 2, that's fine. If you're using a 2 multiplier, you're going to get into 0.04 of a lot, okay? And then as it goes up, we'll take off half and leave the other 2 to go continue on or break even, okay? So keep that in mind as we move forward. I would suggest all of you use a multiplier of 1 as all this stuff figures out. Those of you that use a multiplier of 2, hold your breath and keep moving forward. All right? I'm Max Farrell. This is DexTrader.com and DexFX Copy Update. I hope that all of this finds you very well, and look forward over the next week as we make April the best month ever. Okay? Take care, and as always, trade well.